Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Welcome to Arabic 101. We're on class 49 and we are going to complete chapter 19 tonight, inshallah. Last week we learned about al-adad and al-ma'dud. We said al-adad means the number, meaning like 1, 2, 3, anything, any number is called al-adad. And al-ma'dud is the thing that we are counting. So for example, if we look over here, it says talibun wahidun, right? This is the thing that we're counting, right? The ma'dud. And the number is wahid, is the adad. You'll notice that when we say talibun just by itself, it already means 1. So when you say it the second time, it is emphasis. It is emphasis. Because if you just say talibun, it's sufficient to mean a student, one single student. When you say talibun wahidun, it's just you emphasizing one student. You'll also notice that this is masculine and the number is also masculine. And if you look over here, talibani ithnani, right? It's for muthanna, and it is in the same form like earlier. And that's why we have written at the top, al-adadu yuwafiqu al-ma'dud, right? It means that the number will agree with the ma'dud. In what sense? In not just quantity alone, but what I want to mostly specify or point out is what is known as ad-tadhkir, right? And at-ta'neeth, which means mudhakkar and mu'annath, gender. All right? Yuwafiqu in gender. It will agree with the number in the same gender. So you'll say talibun wahidun, talibani ithnani. Is that for all the numbers? No. Just for these two numbers. 1 and 2.
What if it's one feminine student?
That's to be pointed out in the next lesson. But what will end up happening, if it's a feminine, it will still be the same. Talibatun, wahidatun. So that's just for number 1 and 2. They're the same. Okay? And for this one, it would be talibatani, feminine, ithnatani. So it will be the same. Now, if this is clear, I'd like to erase it. For numbers 1 and 2, the adad and ma'dud are the same gender. Is this understood? Can I erase the top part? Because now, and this is what we took last week, but it's very, very easy to forget this, so I want to make sure you have a good grasp on it. Excuse me, I still got that sawdust. We're doing some construction for our online viewers. For numbers 3 to 10, all right? Min madha? Min ثلاثة إلى عشرة. Okay? What does that mean?
From 3 to 10.
From 3 to 10. What happens? Al-adadu. The first one said yuwafiqu. This one's going to say yukhalifu, from khilaf. What does that mean? Will differ. Yuwafiq means it will agree. Yukhalifu means it will differ from the ma'dud in at-tadhkir and ta'neeth, in his gender. Numbers 3 to 10. The adad, the number, will differ from the ma'dud in gender. Not only, let's look at this first. What is the masculine version of thalathatu? Thalathun. Right? Thalathun. Make sure you make it short. Say thalathun. If you say thalathun, made a huge difference. How huge? What's the difference between thalathun and thalathun?
30.
That's right. If you say thalathun, it's 3. If you say thalathun, you get that extra long wow. You've just changed it into a huge difference. Imagine you go buy something from somebody and he says to you, how much is this? And you say thalathun. It's like, oh, you're crazy. This is worth 3 riyal. No, thalathun, I'm saying it. You keep saying to him 30. Doesn't work like that. So, thalathun. Got it? Or, you know, a lot of people just stop on the sukun, thalath. Thalath. Wadih?
Yeah. Sheikh.
Yes.
So, like in Surah Thalatha, why is it Thalatha?
See, we're going to take it right now.
Oh, okay.
You're going to exactly know why is it the feminine. And the feminine version, thalathatun.
Oh, that's what it is. Okay.
Thalathatun, right? When it is connected to something else, it's connected to it by mudafun ilay, which means we're going to get rid of one of what? One of the harakas got to go. Because the word, as you notice, is mudafun ilay. It's not anymore thalathatun, it is thalathun. Why'd I cap this back? Thalathatu طلاب. Now, we also notice that this comes in the plural. You understand? And it's majroor. So there are 3 things to consider here. The first one is that the adad, the number, is the opposite gender of the ma'dud. So how do you determine? Look at what you're counting. If what you're counting is male students, that means you're going to count from 3 to 10, you need to use a feminine number. Pens, qalamun, aqlamun, right? Do I say, we got 3 still. Do I say thalathu aqlamin or thalathatu aqlamin? I should say thalathatu aqlamin. All right? The second thing we want to consider is that when the ma'dud for numbers 3 to 10, the ma'dud is what you're counting is going to be plural. You guys need to be writing this down if you don't have it already. This is what we wrote down last week, or you need to memorize it.
Oh.
Yeah, I know you had it last week. Let me do this last one and ask you a question. The third item you need to focus on is the ma'dud has to come in the majroor form, which is mudafun ilayhi. The gender is opposite of whatever you're counting. 2 is that it's going to be in the plural form for numbers 3 to 10. And 3, it's going to be majroor by mudafun ilayhi. Ask your question.
So when you said that it's opposite
Gender.
But isn't that like an indefinite? So it could be man or female?
Indefinite has nothing to do with gender.
Oh.
An indefinite doesn't have...
That still means masculine?
That's masculine. That's straight up
Okay.
masculine, regardless of definite or indefinite.
Okay.
Like if I say Muslimun, it's referring to, Muslim men, right? Now, if you're talking about in the Quran, is it specifically talking about Muslim men or does it include Muslim women? That's a different issue.
So would that be only by 10? If it's female? What would it be?
You know what lesson 20 is? Or I'm sorry, yeah, you know what lesson 20 is? All feminine. Right now it's all masculine.
Okay.
The thing where all ma'dud is masculine now. And then the next lesson will be all feminine. And you can learn to your heart's content. But let's look at now another example that we have over here. Arba'atu طلاب. And if you guys want to see all the numbers, go to page 106. And I told you guys to read that and memorize it on page 106. and they have the countdown from 3 all the way to 10. That you guys absolutely have to know frontward and backward. All right? Okay. Now let's go to where we left off last week on the examples. We were doing Iqra waktub, correct? Which one did we stop on from last week? 7? All right. Let's do number 7. I'll read it because we're short on time. Since we started late, so this will be kind of a short class. And I will give you... Perfect. I'll give you number 3 and 4 as homework for tomorrow. Number 7. لهذه السيارة 4 أبواب. لهذه السيارة 4 أبواب. For this car. Or you could just say this car has 4 أبواب. 4 doors. All right? One thing I need to point you guys' attention to, if you remember, is how do we determine the gender of a jam' غير عاقل? We look at, even actually, you know what? Even with aql jam', with aql jam', you still are going to look at the origin of the word. I'm going to write 2 words up here. What's the word we have? Abwab, right? All right, so let's put bab first. Babun and abwabun. So how we look at this, both of them are mudhakkar. This looks mudhakkar, that looks mudhakkar. It doesn't end with that ta. Correct? Here's what might be confusing. Ikhwatun. Right? That ends with a ta that usually signifies something is mu'annath. But we know ikhwa is the jam' of what word? Akhun. So to determine if this word is masculine or feminine, right? We look at the singular version of it. So now, if I was going to say, how many brothers do you have? Do I say, ثلاثة إخوة? Or do I say ثلاث إخوة? I would say the first one, ثلاثة إخوة. Why? When we just said, these two look like mu'annath, right? Don't they both look like mu'annath, the way tat is? But because the origin of this word really is akhun, we're going to treat it like a mudhakkar. Even though, it has this. Therefore, we need this number to be the opposite of what it's counting. طيب? All right. So, let's go to the next one. كم ثمن هذا الكتاب? ثمن is a new word. كم ثمن هذا الكتاب? Which means, what's ثمن? The value, price. Actually, سعر is price. This is more like the value. ثمن. ثمن. What is the value? هذا الكتاب. كم ثمن هذا الكتاب? What's the value of this book? Then he says, ثمنه. Its price, its value. 7 ريالات ونصف. There we go again. All right? What is nisf? Half. A lot of people don't pronounce that fat, keep in mind, on the word nisf. They just say nus. The real word is what? Nisf. All right. Who's brave? Who's brave enough to handle this word now? We took sab'a. What's that number? Sab'atu. What's the word? Riyalatin. Didn't we take that if a word ends with alif and ta, that's the plural of feminine. Muslimatun, right? Mudarrisatun, talibatun, riyalatun. So did we just see mu'annath and mu'annath again?
Because the only form is real.
That's right. We need to take this word and to determine if it's masculine or feminine, look at the singular form. And we find that the singular form of riyalatun is riyal. Masculine or feminine?
This is so deep. You have to know everything.
That's why I told you this is the worst class to miss. These two.
Is real masculine?
Riyal is masculine. All right? Easy indication is if it doesn't end with that ta, to know if it's masculine or feminine. You know the one with the two dots? So, now, sab'atu riyalatin is correct. And it should not be sab'u. Sukun. Just like we did with thalathatu ikhwatin. Right? This looked like it was feminine, but it's actually masculine. This looks like it's feminine, but it's actually, the singular form is masculine. All right? The easiest way after you get all these rules down is to go through the exercise, which we are getting to. You're going to see it on 107. That exercise right there is going to help you a lot. Let's keep reading. What is the value of this book? We're still on as-su'al al-thamin, the 8th question. What is the value of this book?
7.5
Its value is 7.5 riyal. Right? 9. السؤال التاسع. في هذا الفصل 10 طلاب قدامى و4 طلاب جدد. Is that correct? All right. Actually, no. 4 طلاب جدد with a ضمتين. جدد. Let's take a look here, because now we need to identify if 4 أربعة طلاب. But see, what we're trying to determine is you have أربعة is the mubtada, right? Which means it's marfu'. And طلاب is مضاف إليه, right? So, well, that's the thing. We need a khabar. We need a khabar. So it could be the khabar. So I think this is what it might be. Jududun might be the khabar. Because if you said arba'atun jududun, right? You just say 4 are new. Sentence, you know, it kind of will make sense. But 4 students are new. All right? It's a very basic sentence, but subhanAllah, it's going over my head right now. But I believe this is what it would be. Arba'atu tullabin jududun. Yeah. If it does turn out that judud is describing the students, and it's not khabar for arba'a, then it would be jududin. But let's just leave it at that. Kam qamisan. Actually, let's go through the example. في هذا الفصل.
What is قدامى?
Yeah. في هذا الفصل 10 طلاب. Right? 10 students that are what?
In this class.
قدامى. Old students. قديم. قدامى. قديم. قدامى. Old. So that would mean وأربعة طلاب جدد. 4 that are new. All right. The thing you want to pay attention to is now عشرة. Because sometimes you will say عشر. عشر. And sometimes you will say عشرة. 10 is another special one that has to have its own explanation. What would a class be without, something not being straightforward?
Sheikh, Qudama, is that plural?
It is.
How come judud? Oh, it is plural. Never mind.
That's good. You caught yourself. عشرة. عشرة. عشرة has a fatha on the sheen, correct? Because what we are counting is what? طلاب. We're counting a masculine. And you will see in the next class, I feel like it's good to put these together. And it's relevant. Even though they'll introduce it to you in the next class. If you're counting female, the sheen has a sukoon. If you're counting male, the sheen has a fatha.
Oh, because that's masculine.
Yes. I want to put these together even though they would have showed you this next one, but I want you to take it now.
Are all the numbers in their original form masculine?
Yeah. You saying like, do I say?
Like you're just saying the number by itself. The number by itself is
No, you'll normally say, actually, you'll be like واحد, اثنان, ثلاثة, أربعة, خمسة. You'll actually, for 3 to 10, you'll do all feminine.
How we deal, like, if we couldn't figure out the gender of the noun, like something.
Well, first of all, this thing about having a sukoon on the sheen or a fatha on the sheen.
I'm asking about the objects, like computers, laptops, if you want to talk. Like,
Yes.
So those are like considered.
You just have to know what their gender are. If they don't have a symbol, like a ta at the end of it, like take for example yawmun, right? Or you come across the word ayam, days.
Yeah, those are the Arabic words. I'm asking about the, like, something foreign words, like laptops, computers, or phones.
Well, it'll if they use the original word, it will be clear to you. But if they use an English word that's been made, that's not a real Arabic word. So probably any one of these won't be a problem. But if you use laptop, the real word for a laptop, it's not computer. They'll say that.
Yeah.
But the real word is mahmul. Mahmul. Because it's carried. Right? And that's actually what, that's what it means. So it's mahmul, and probably the plural is mahmulat. Right? So it will be like riyal and riyalat. So if they use the original word of it, then it'll be clear to you. But if they use a English word that's Arabic, honestly, you could probably use anyone. Yeah. Like if they say, where is a telephone? It's not. It's jawal. Jawalat. Or sayyar. They have different words for it, but it's, it's not what, like an actual phone. If you ever look, like you go to a shop, they'll have like, it says email address, phone number, this, all the information for the shop, right? And they'll say, telephone, al-maktab, like the office number. It's wrong. The real word, and sometimes some places they'll call it hatif. Hatif is actual like landline, hatif.
Not a cell phone.
No, not a cell phone, it's something else. That's jawal. So if they use the real Arabic word, it'll be easy to identify. But if they have a fake one, I can't help you. Okay, point you guys need to know. If you're counting masculine, it has a fatha. If you're counting feminine, it has a sukoon. That's it? That's all you need to know for now.
Just pretend.
Just pretend. Pretend?
No, that's just for the number 10.
Just for 10, yes. So, masculine has a fatha. Meaning if what you're counting is masculine, this will have a fatha. If what you're counting is feminine, this will be sukoon. And we will go over it again in the next lesson. But we have to get to the end of this. كم قميصا عندك يا إبراهيم? How many qamis do you have with you, O Ibrahim? Or how many? I'm not with you. How many do you have, Ibrahim? عندي أربعة قمصان. Right? عندي 4 قمصان with a فتحة because ممنوع من الصرف. I have 4 what? قميص. السؤال 11 عندي 2 و5 قروش. Qurush was an old currency that they used to use. Just like rialat, right? It's just an old currency. I believe sometimes it also be used to, like the coins, silver dollars. I think that's what it was used for, if I can recall correctly. But it's an older currency. Not a lot of places use it anymore. I have 2 riyal and 5 qurush. Like saying 5, I believe it's silver dollars or cents. I can't recall, to be honest. Number 12, السؤال الثاني عشر. في هذه الحافلة, right? Or I'm sorry, في هذه الحافلة T. Because of fi affecting هذه, and a word that has alif and lam coming after هذه is going to be badal. It's going to be the same thing. في هذه الحافلة 10 ركاب. This bus has, or in it, is what? 10 ركاب. Passengers. راكب ركاب, passengers. راكب ركاب, passengers. حافلة is bus. And it is not bas, which is commonly said. أين الباص? They've even made that into plural. They say basat with a alif ta, basat. It's hafilatun and hafilat. Yeah. All right. The exercise. أجب عن الأسئلة الآتية مستعملا العدد المذكور بين القوسين. It says أجب عن الأسئلة الآتية. Answer the following questions مستعملا العدد المذكور بين القوسين, using the numbers in between the parentheses. So, the example, مثال, example, كم كتابا عندك? How many books do you have? The number بين القوسين, what's بين القوسين mean? Yeah, in the brackets, in the parentheses, is ثلاثة. عندي 3 كتب. That's the example. كم الساعة الآن? What's the time?
49.
Go ahead and say that again.
49.
49?
49.
Yeah. Let's take 2 more. The number we are using is 5. Right? Who's going to do it for us? معلم. Let's get معلم. And then we'll get you.
كم أخا لك يا حامد؟
Yeah, Hamidu, very good.
عندي.
We're using akh, so use li.
Okay. لي خمسة
Mm-hmm.
أخوات.
He wants brothers.
إخوتي.
Very good. لي 5 إخوة. أحسنت. The السؤال. كم أخا لك يا حامد? Right? He said, لي 5 إخوة. I have 5 brothers. Let me get Noor, then I'll come to you, Mudaffar, because he had his hand up. Noor. السؤال الثاني. Nice and loud.
كم
عمن.
عمن لك يا ليلى.
So you got to change laka, because it's Layla. Laka is for anta. You need anti.
كم
Akhan or amman.
كم عمن لك يا ليلى.
Good. How many uncles you have, Layla? What's she gonna say? Li?
لي لي أربعة
Just with one dhamma.
لي أربعة
Mm-hmm.
عم
You have the plural of am is a'mam.
عم
Li arba'atu a'mamin. All right? Kam amman laki ya Layla? How many uncles do you have, Layla? Li arba'atu a'mamin. I have 4 uncles. Mudaffar.
كم ابنا لك يا شيخ
How many sons do you have, Sheikh?
لي سبعة
Ab,
أب
abna,
أبنان
abna'in.
أبناء
Abna'in. So everything was good except for the number. It's not a 7. It looks like an English 7, but it's an Arabic 6. Sittatu.
ستة
Aha.
أبناء.
Abna'in. Very good. Li sittatu abna'in. All right. You guys understand how this works? We've already gone through so many, so through 3 of them. I'm thinking about it. Amir, you want to do number 4?
كم كم سؤال
Mm-hmm.
في هذا الدرس
في هذا الدرس.
هذا الدرس.
Mm.
How many questions did you have in the class
Or in this lesson?
in this lesson?
Yes.
In the
Well, use fi and say in it. So how do you use it for dars? Or I'm sorry, how do you use it for dars? Do you say fihi or fiha? Fihi, because dars is masculine. So fihi,
فيه
there's an 8 there.
ثمانية فيه ثمانية
What's the last letter? Thamaniya. Thamani or thamaniyatu?
ثمانية
Uh-huh.
فيه ثمانية سوالة
As'ilatin. As'ila, you have to use the plural.
أسئلة
That's it. You're done. Fihi thamaniyatu as'ilatin. All right? Very good. Because remember, whenever you're counting for 3 to 10, you have to make it into plural. Now,
Does adad always has to come before ma'dud? Or we can say fihi?
no, they can,
They can switch it.
it can be switched. Like if you were to say, طُلَّابٍ عَشَرَةٍ, but it has a different meaning. It's not meaning necessarily 10 students. It's kind of like saying the 10 students almost. Like it has a different meaning that comes with it, right? Or you say بيوت خمسة, right? Normally it's done in that other way. If it's done in the opposite, it has a different kind of meaning that will only be used, I believe, like to go with like a set of poetry or something like that. But normally it is the adad is first and the ma'dud is second. All right? Next is going to be Su'al al-Khamis, right? Abdul Malik.
So it's 5.
That's right.
كم راكبا في الحافلة.
That's right. That's correct. Answer.
How many passengers are in the bus?
That's right. So say in it.
فيه
Hafila, masculine and feminine.
what?
Hafila.
It's feminine.
So use the right dhamir.
Oh, فيها.
Yes. Now 9. You have rakiban. Give him a second. He'll do. Fiha.
فيها تسعة I guess ركاب
Rukka. That's it. ركاب فيه تسعة ركاب.
What? I thought it was fiha.
I'm sorry, فيها, yeah.
So wouldn't tis'atu not be tis'atu?
No, because it's counting the rakib, it's not counting the bus.
Oh.
The rakib is fine. So فيها تسعة ركاب. Why don't you give one a try, Bill?
Scared. I'll try the next.
Do it. 6, quickly.
كم ريالا في جيب what's that? جيبك
Well, fi is in front of it, so
جيبك
no. It's going to affect only the bat. The ka is for you.
جيبك
Fi jaybika.
جيبك.
That's it.
I don't know what that word means.
What's jayb? هذا جيب.
Pocket. Oh, okay. Okay.
This guy asking must be a crook or something. How much كم ريالا في جيبك, you know? How much money you got in your pocket?
عندي.
No, I want to say in it.
Oh.
Jayb is masculine.
فيه
Uh-huh.
فيه سبعة
Yes?
جيبي.
No, just make it plural now, the riyal.
Oh.
Make it plural.
ريالا.
ريالات.
ريالا.
Riyalatin. Almost. You have to remember, identify what you're counting, and then you have to make it plural. So that's why I said if you do these exercises, especially 3, but you can also redo 2. Redo 2, do 3, and inshallah it'll be very easy. Last question, might as well do it. كم ثمن هذا الكتاب? Right? What is the value of this book? And it has a 10 there. Do I say ثمنه عشرة, what is it? ريالات? Or do I say عشر ريالات? عشرة. ثمنه عشرة ريالات. ثمنه, its value. عشرة ريالات. رحمك الله. All right, and with that we'll be done. If you guys see الكلمات الجديدة. Yeah, that number 4, it's an exam. It's telling you to use numbers 3 to 10 for all of those. So kitabun, you would say ثلاثة كتب. You would say أربعة كتب, خمسة كتب, ستة كتب. And then you go to the next word, قلم, ثلاثة أقلام, أربعة أقلام, all the way to 10. That's what they want you to do with those example 4 or exercise 4. رجل or رجل, you would say ثلاثة رجال, أربعة رجال, خمسة رجال. If you want to benefit and not get fed up with the numbers, do these exercises. If you want to struggle for the rest of your Arabic learning career, then skip the exercise. If you want to struggle, even if you get to mustawa thalith, the 3rd level, and you want to struggle with these numbers, just skip the exercise. If you want to do well, do the exercise. Okay? Might as well just complete the chapter. New words. Thaman, what does it mean? Value. Nisfun, half. Going across. Al-yawmu,
Day.
one day. Ayyamun, jam', that's the plural, days. Second line. Al-riyalu, one currency of riyal. Riyalatun, plural of riyal. Al-qirshu and qurushun, just a different type of currency. Al-hafilatu, bus. Hafilatun,
Plural.
rakibun, passengers. Rukkabun, passengers. I don't know if we said that twice. As-su'alu,
Question.
as'ilatun, questions. Al-jaybu, pocket. Juyubun,
Plural pocket.
pockets. And also keep in mind, this area right here used to be referred to as pocket, because the way they wore things in the past would be that it would be like a cloak where one would go like this and the other would go like that. And And where they kept things was inside. And that's why it's called juyub or jaybun. So it's not just here, because when you read the Quran, it talks about, women covering their juyub or jayb. And they're talking about this area, right? That their khimar should come over where it covers this area.
So that means like middle.
So yeah, it's referring to like if you had, like imagine if this line was in the middle and you can actually put your hand in there and pull stuff out. So that's what it's referring to also when it says jayb. Uruba, Europe. Almania, Germany. Faransa, France. Al-Yunan, Greece. Mukhtalifatun, different. Mukhtalifatun is different. And Malaysia, Malaysia. We'll start question number 20 tomorrow. Please do your homework. Barakallahu feekum. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.